Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Bert Hart.
And I'm the 420 Kid.
Welcome to episode 176, In Your House 5.
Season's Beatings. Sounds naughty.
Were you on the naughty list?
I was a good kid.
Sometimes, maybe. I don't know. In 95, no.
not.
I moved out and was on my own, so.
I was probably
Then
pretty
you
good.
definitely were probably on the naughty list.
Yeah, I was definitely still a good kid in 95.
Well, this was the fifth In Your House, produced by WWF. It would take place on December 17th, 1995, from the Hershey Park Arena in Hershey, Pennsylvania, with an attendance of 7,289 people.
Woo!
So it's right next to the...
decent for a In Your House.
Yeah, that's about normal for a B-level pay-per-view for WWF.
Yeah.
It's the A-level for WCW, so...
Hey, we had a couple big numbers before everyone got hella tired of Hogan. We had like a 13 or a 13 or maybe a 13 or 14,000 at one point within the last year or two.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, this is typically a good WCW. Is this where the Hershey's Place chocolate factory is?
Yes.
I believe so. Shane would probably know better than I, because he's probably done more research about Hershey, Pennsylvania.
A little bit.
Because he has to figure out what kind of food to bring us.
Exactly. Oh, food. Here we are again. I thought I was going to get to escape Pennsylvania, but nope. We just jumped to a different town. Yeah, we're in Hershey, PA, from the Hershey Park. I was trying to find like a signature cocktail for Hershey's, and obviously you type in cocktail in Hershey, it brings up like chocolate martini and whatnot, and like, nah, I don't want to do that.
That sounds awful.
I mean, I've had some that are fairly tasty, but it just did not sound like anything I wanted to drink today. Plus, I was more wanting to eat something. So I started looking up what are the best burgers in the Hershey area, and it brought up this like awesome picture of this big juicy looking burger. Clicked on it, and it said it was from a place called The Mill in Hershey. I believe their menu has changed since that burger was on there, though, because when I looked it up, the menu description didn't really have anything that matched what that picture showed. Yeah, the picture showed like crispy onions and stuff, and their new one has like lettuce and tomato and barbecue. But I wanted to find something that was similar to what that burger made me think it would taste like in the picture, so I went to my friends here at Red Prime Steakhouse in Oklahoma City and ordered the Red Burger. It's a thick Angus patty. I had it cooked to chef's choice. It's topped with... It's a 10-ounce Creekstone Black Angus. It has a butter case, Frenched onions, came with a white remoulade, a bone marrow bordelaise, and then some Parmesan fries with a little truffle mayo. Super juicy burger. The bordelaise was like nice and kicking, had some chunks of onion, and apparently it's made of bone marrow, so we're going to be extra strong. Is that what bone marrow does?
I don't know. I know people started drinking like bone broth a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why though.
It's got that
extra protein,
cartilage and whatnot that you can.
Maybe it's a keto thing. I don't know. You got me.
But yeah, Red Prime Steak, good burger. I've had steaks there before. I've had crab cakes from there before. I've had seared scallops. They've got some pretty delish Green chili mac and cheese.
I've never had anything. The green chili mac and cheese is pretty bomb.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I have to get it every time I go. Every time I go, I'm like, because I love scallops.
Yep.
But it's a steakhouse, and their steaks are on point. So definitely one of the best places to eat in Oklahoma City if you're ever in town.
First time I went there, I wasn't eating meat at the time, or red meat anyways. So I ordered the scallops, and they were good.
I'm sure they were.
Yeah, I love a scallop.
Yep. Since then, I've had a porterhouse that was coffee. I think it was coffee crusted with salt. And then I don't remember what sauce I got for it. Because, you get to pick your own little crusts and sauces. And
I can definitely say their Béarnaise sauce is delicious. Because that's my favorite. But.
Yeah, this Bordelaise would be pretty damn tasty, too. A buddy of mine that goes there, he's the president of the Western Avenue Association. And he said they make him like a house-made, almost like Worcestershire sauce. That he gets it in a big old bowl, and they just like put his steaks in there, so they're cooked and then marinated in his little special sauce when it's taken out to the table. So they're all about that hospitality, taking it to the extreme. Normally, I wait and eat my stuff on microphone, but I saved only a bite to eat on the mic, so that says a whole lot right there.
It was too delicious to stop eating.
Yep.
But something that would happen right around the same time as this show, One Sweet Day by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men would be in its third week of their record 16 straight weeks at number 1 on the Billboard charts.
This was on my 1995 Grammy nomination season that I brought up so many times on this run of shows, because those songs get brought up when we're talking about hot shit or whatever, and the song got a bunch of play.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I
got a bunch of guys
told you all I needed to say.
Yeah, is this like kind of about like a dead producer or something? Or
I think it was about a dead person. Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely about a dead person, but it's one of the, it's vague enough so you can
use it for anybody.
This was
any
played,
dead person.
Yeah. I'm sure the song got played
at many a funeral.
Oh yeah.
Got played at many dances, high school dances.
Oh really?
Too.
Oh yeah.
It was.
I wasn't in high school.
Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
Yeah, but I mean, it's basically a funeral song as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
Yeah.
This song makes me sad. Dance with me.
This is kind of like the R&B version of Candle in the Wind. But Candle in the Wind is like, oh, well, he was like, I already had this song. What if I move it around a little bit?
Did they make a dance mix of this?
I'm sure there's a remix of it.
Dance remix.
The chorus is great. It's big and it's dumb and emotionally manipulative.
Chucky's remix.
It's great.
Oh, good. They didn't do
Chucky's remix.
It wasn't like Chucky. It was just
okay. It was like
it wasn't. It wasn't the doll or the rat.
I mean, I remember being in junior high school, all the time. Dancing to this.
I have a memory of somebody hating this song, and I thought it was Shane, but it would make no sense for Shane to hate this song. I don't know who it is that I know that hates this song, but it's like, come on, man. Of course, you can, whether you like it or not, you understand why it was such a big hit. Plus, it's them at the height of their powers.
I was often asked to help participate in this song at karaoke because. Get drunk, you get sad, you gotta sing a sad song. Shane, sing with me.
And you can also have like 5 people up there because there's like 5 people on the song. Plus, I'm sure they all overdubbed too.
Yep. Now I'm trying to remember. Let's see what song took them out of the top.
Well, we might get to it at some point.
Oh, okay.
Matt might have it in the...
My bad.
It might be in the hopper, man.
Like, no spoilers, Shane. For something that happened in 1995 or maybe early 96.
It would have been 96.
Yeah.
Because it's
last
week 3 of a 16. So, like, it's...
Oh, this is week 3?
So
it's making it all...
It's number 1 for another 13 weeks. So it's number 1 until March.
Oh, yeah. It was
of
like
96.
It was like the Titanic of songs.
It's wild.
It's just always at the top.
And it's not even on like any of their albums, right?
It's on the Boyz II Men 2 album.
Oh, okay.
And I think Mariah put a solo version on one of her albums, but I don't remember.
I'm sure the single flew off of the shelf.
Rude. A solo version?
I know, right?
Rude, Mariah. What the hell?
She didn't want to split it with all of them. There's like a lot of guys and Boyz II Men. That's now.
Unfortunately.
True.
R.I.P. Well, let's talk some wrestling. We get the WWF logo before Todd Pettengill narration over Hart family highlights, where the Hart family isn't enjoying Christmas because they're torn apart by the feud. Hitman has never defeated Bulldog, as we see highlights from SummerSlam 92.
Highlights.
Huh?
Sorry, that's a dig at Bulldog.
Tonight, two men stand apart. One family stands divided. Tonight, it will be more like season's beatings for the Hart family.
Ooh.
We then get some computer animation where someone's throwing snowballs at a front door, and the In Your House logo comes out only to have more snowballs thrown at it. We then follow the logo into the house and go to our arena, where Vince McMahon welcomes us to the show. And Jerry the King Lawler is joining him on commentary. And we see Santa and the Smoking Guns handing out presents in the crowd.
Maybe some of those VHS tapes they had plenty of copies of.
Sure, probably.
Maybe,
T-shirt or two.
T-shirt or two.
I mean, who has a Smoking Guns t-shirt, guys?
I don't know, but I bet it's probably worth a lot of money now.
I'm sure somebody had one, but yeah, I never knew anybody that had one.
No, probably not. They've kind of done a whole lot of nothing for like 3 years.
They're a 2-time tag team champion, sir.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, that they won and lost on Raw.
That's true. And the King says he has a surprise for everybody.
Ooh.
And we might see that later. But we go straight to our first match. The 1-2-3 Kid and Sycho Sid with $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase versus Razor Ramon and Marty Jannetty.
Ooh. Talk about your party crowd.
Yeah, I was. No shit. I was kind of surprised, like that Marty just keeps
Popping back up.
chilling.
Getting paydays.
Yep.
Yeah, he just keeps chilling.
Like, hey, Sean's hurt, whatever. Can you come back for a few weeks?
Yeah, maybe if Marty Jannetty was as handsome as Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon would have put up with him more.
I'm telling you, had he not
Probably one of the
partied,
few people that's in this company that can do a 1-2-3 Kid match and actually look good doing it.
Oh yeah.
Everyone else is just way too big.
Yeah, I'm sure Bret could do all right, but no, but that's Bret fucking Hart, and he's not messing with the 1-2-3 Kid right now.
that's right. He just finally got himself out of the mid card. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
So we see footage from Survivor Series where Sid would help the Kid beat Marty to win the match, followed by 1-2-3 distracting Ramon, causing him to be eliminated in his Survivor Series match. And as Razor comes out, we see Goldust in the crowd, applauding and blowing kisses at Ramon. He seems to have his own section,
Yeah, he's got
complete with an usher.
I love the usher. It's the movie theater style usher,
Yep.
to keep with his quotes theme.
Vince also points out that, yes, you are seeing a hog pen in the entranceway as well.
Oh, 95.
Yeah,
All the way to the end, you just deliver.
I popped for the hog pen, but then I was like, but now then I have to watch the match later, whatever that is. I had a pretty good guess of who one of the contestants would be.
I mean, you should have a good idea of who
Yeah.
it was. So the match gets going, and the Kid goes right after Jannetty with kicks, only for Marty to retaliate with an enziguri and a clothesline for a 2 count. Jannetty keeps trying to pull 1-2-3 towards his corner so he can make a tag, but the Kid continuously avoids Razor, even bailing out to the floor once he's tagged in, only for Marty to grab him and roll it and throw him back into the ring.
I'm not getting away, you little shit.
Yep.
We get a toothpick flick before Ramon picks 1-2-3 high up into the air for an atomic drop,
Hi.
allowing him to make a blind tag to Sycho Sid. And Sid comes in with clubbing forearms, chokes. The Kid even joins in with double teams when Razor begins to fire up to trade punches with Sycho Sid, only for them to both hit clotheslines for a double KO.
Bum, bum, bum. I thought that it was funny that there was Sid chants. I guess people like Sid. I think they just like to see Sid be large.
I mean, there's always going to be
Sid
those
chants.
people.
I mean, like Sid, we all remember how terrible the skyscrapers were, and people would just chant Sid, and then they would boo. Oh, I can't
Danny
even.
Spivey.
Danny Spivey. That's how much I hate him. Like, I couldn't even pull his name. I was just thinking about him the other day. But, like, yeah, you remember the Sid chants. They were so loud. And then Danny Spivey comes in and just chirps.
They're all hopped up on chocolate or something.
They're in Philly. They also have some
Hershey.
They are in Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania.
There you go.
They're in Pennsylvania. They like a heel. We got there's an ECW shirt in the crowd. I saw it.
1, 2, 3, and Marty both are tagged in, where Jannetty gains control with a faceplant, a power slam, and a blockbuster for a near fall. Marty starts to wear down the kid with headlocks as we go to Pettingill, who's with Goldust, who talks about Ramon's sexiness. And he also gives Todd a note to pass on to Razor. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, maybe he wants to take him to a Boys to Men concert.
Check yes or no. In the ring, Jannetty is hit from behind by Sid, allowing 1, 2, 3 to deliver a spinning heel kick to regain control. The two men continue their double teaming ways, but Marty tries to escape with a crossbody, only to be caught by Sycho Sid and dropped with a power slam for a 2 count. Sid hits a body slam and goes to taunt Razor, only to back up into a Jannetty roll-up, but the ref is distracted, getting Ramon back to his corner.
Damn it, ref.
The kid comes back in with a body slam and comes off the top with a frog splash for a near fall. Sycho Sid with a big boot as 1, 2, 3 now taunts Razor some more, which causes him to chase the kid through the ring to attack from behind. But while the ref gets Ramon out of the ring, the $1 Million Corporation keep up the attack on Marty with more double teams, including an Irish whip aided dropkick and a clothesline. The $1 Million Corporation continues to work over Jannetty with leg drops, double axe handles, until 1, 2, 3 misses a corner splash, allowing Marty to make the crawl for the Hart Attack. Razor cleans house with right hands, whips the kid into Sycho Sid before delivering a fall-away slam to him. Ramon then goes for the Razor's Edge on Sid, but it's reversed into a back body drop, only to then miss a leg drop. Ramon's Irish whip is then reversed, but he does get a boot up on the charging Sycho Sid, following up with a second rope bulldog for the pin and the win. Post-match, the bad guy goes right after 1, 2, 3, attempting a Razor's Edge, only for Sid to save him and retreat to the back.
You know they're into the 1, 2, 3 kid when they have Sid take the pin. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, Sid probably not that nice of a guy. If he's stabbed a man, he looks mean. I mean, that's not the case for everybody, but yeah, still, he's very large, and we all know Vince likes big boys. And hey, he can work better than Diesel, maybe.
Sometimes.
At least it looks better.
Yeah.
Vince shills for the Superstar hotline, and we see Sonny and Ray Rougeau on the phones right now. And I was like, I'd be very disappointed if I got the wrong line.
But Ray's got that cute accent.
All of a sudden, the $1 Million Corporation joins Sonny in the back as well, because she's on the heel hotline.
Yeah.
The ring announcer then begins to announce our next match, but Lawler interrupts him, and the King enters the ring with a wrapped gift in his hands, telling the fans that Santa isn't bringing them a gift, but he is. Double J, Jeff Jarrett.
What?
We haven't seen Double J since In Your House 2, episode 160, because he's been out on tour.
I mean, ain't I great? It toured for, I don't know,
a couple months.
3 months?
Or at least in Memphis, where he was actually wrestling.
Yeah. I'm just happy he's back. I've missed Jarrett on these cards.
Mm-hmm.
Lawler says that Jarrett has a new CD and tour named Greater Than Great.
Oh, shit.
Before unwrapping the gift to reveal a framed gold CD for his Ain't I Great album.
Pretty cool.
Over 500,000 copies sold.
Hell yeah. The next one's
All
going
by
platinum.
Double J then declares himself a participant in the Royal Rumble and promises to be champion at WrestleMania 12.
Here we have it, folks. The first entry in the 1996 Royal Rumble. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. J-E, double F. J-A, double R-E, double T. Double J, Jeff Jarrett. First entry in 1996 Royal Rumble.
The King then invites Jarrett to join commentary for the next match, which is our second one, Dean Douglas versus Ahmed Johnson. And Jarrett doesn't know who either of these guys are. And Dean takes the mic saying he was planning on coming out here and giving Ahmed a wrestling lesson of a lifetime. But the doctors haven't cleared him, as his back is only 65% of what it should be. So he introduces his graduate student, Buddy Landel.
Oh, man.
We haven't seen Buddy since Wrestle War 91, episode 53.
Nature Boy, Buddy Landel.
That's right.
I mean, good for him for the payday.
Yeah.
Good luck against Ahmed Johnson.
I didn't remember him being here, but I mean, I don't really remember much of the In Your Houses. Yeah, I don't remember him really making a comeback in the 90s or mid-90s.
Well, Vince asks Double J what he thinks of Johnson as he comes to the ring, and his quotes are, "He's got an earring in, and all he wears is tights to the ring." Good commentary,
Yeah.
Double J. Good
It's like
commentary.
what? So he looks like a wrestler?
Yeah. So our actual
with earrings. Yeah.
So our actual match is Buddy Landel versus Ahmed Johnson.
That'll put asses in seats.
And Ahmed slaps Douglas once he's in the ring, allowing Landel to attack from behind, but Johnson just turns and absorbs chops and right hands. Ahmed starts choking Buddy, lifting him up to the top turnbuckle, where Landel leaps off, only for Johnson to catch him and drop him with a spine buster. Ahmed then follows that up with a Pearl River plunge for the pin and the win. Post-match, Johnson starts to go after Dean, grabbing his paddle and swatting Douglas with it. And Jarrett seems to think that Ahmed needs an attitude adjustment. Where's Cena? Where is he at? Before Vince challenges Lawler to interview Johnson. And they bring Ahmed down to ringside, where the King makes sure the camera is on his good side, before asking Double J if Johnson's win impressed him, with Jarrett saying, absolutely not. Lawler goes on to demean Ahmed being able to read, with Double J throwing in a "got him."
Yikes.
It's like, eek. Johnson has had enough, calling Jarrett an achy, breaky heart wannabe punk and a fake urban cowboy, before threatening the King as well. And while he's doing that, Double J has grabbed his framed gold CD, smashes it over the head of Ahmed, before ramming him into a chair that Lawler is holding. Jarrett continues the attack with the steel steps and Douglas's paddle, only for Johnson to no-sell it and chase Double J to the back. And you asked why you didn't remember Buddy Landel?
So
It's because this would be the last time we would ever see Landel, and also the last time we would see Douglas in the WWF.
Oh my goodness.
That was a quick one.
Yep. Came for a quick little Intercontinental title run, and
The quickest ever.
Yeah.
Poof.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
I mean, I guess Jarrett needed to go on tour, so they brought in Dean, and then Jarrett's back, so go back to Philly.
Adios, D.
My takeaway from all of this is that they could have just done Goldberg with Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
Like,
They could have done Zeus with Ahmed Johnson.
Well, I mean, it would have been much better because Ahmed Johnson
That would have been a great Zeus.
looks scary. He's got intensity. His promo was not terrible. He at least sounded convincing when he said those dumb lines.
I will tell you right now, his promos do not get any better.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I completely believe you because I was surprised that like this one was decent.
Yeah. His promos are typically very, I'm here, I'm mad, they told me to say something, so bleh.
Well, yeah, that's what it was this time too. He did it well. Yeah, but he just looks great. That's really all he got. But I'm like, oh, this guy could have just been. They could have just Buddy Landell, brought in some Buddy Landells, some Buddy Rose. Is there a third Buddy?
My buddy.
Yeah, he could have just,
Buddy
Power
Murphy.
Buddy Murphy's like 3.
He's probably not even alive at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know how old Buddy Murphy is. But...
No. Yeah, that's where he's watching it with Cena at home.
Well, I mean, Cena was in high school at this time because I'm a couple years older, I know.
We go to the America Online room where Todd Pettingill's with Razor Ramon, and he congratulates Razor on his win before mentioning that the bad guy will be facing Yokozuna on Raw for the Intercontinental title tomorrow night.
How about that?
Todd starts to send it back to Vince, but he remembers the note that Goldust gave him. Ramon starts to read it, and all of a sudden he gets a look of disgust, crumpling up the note and throwing it before leaving the room.
How bizarre.
He could have just checked no and then gave it back to Todd Pettingill. Been respectful.
I feel like it might have said a few more words other than just check yes or no.
Maybe a little bit.
I like you. Do you like me too? Yes or no?
Can I say hello to your little friend?
There you go.
Ding, ding, ding. Winner of the day.
Yep.
We go to our third match. Hunter Hearst Helmsley versus Henry O Godwinn in an Arkansas Hog Pen match with Hillbilly Jim as the special guest referee.
I was kind of surprised that there's pigs in the pen. I thought it just might be a bunch of mud, but they got real live pigs in there.
They go all out in Hershey.
Hunter does a good job of selling the stink on his way to the ring.
We haven't seen Hillbilly Jim since Survivor Series 1988.
Wow.
Episode 22.
Crazy. I mean, yeah, it's only been 7 years, I guess, when you think back, but crazy. That's been 154 episodes.
Has he worked for the company like in the back at all, or they were just like, "Oh, we got hogs. Let's see if we can give Hillbilly a couple."
Well, he was working with some independent stuff because I saw him at my high school in 1989, 1990 when they did the little independent wrestling show in my high school gym, and yeah, he was the big name that was there, so I got to meet Hillbilly Jim because they knew I was a wrestling fan, and
that's fun.
Yeah, that's when I got to jump off the top rope, and
oh wow,
good stuff.
What'd you do, like an axe handle?
Well, I mean, I wanted to jump down. My friend Eric was the other one that got to go in there, and I wanted to do the Macho Man elbow off the top, but
I think if you go to the top rope, you got to try and do the savage elbow.
I know, but
they told us we couldn't do anything like that, so I just got to get up there and jump down.
Oh, okay, like I mean, I understand.
No crash pads in the ring.
No
crash pad. You would have had to do the elbow.
Yeah. So the way to win this match is by throwing your opponent into the hog pen. And as we're about to start, Hog threatens to slop Triple H before chasing him around ringside when Hunter pulls the ring announcer in front of him to get slopped instead. I felt bad for that guy.
Yeah.
I know. The slop looks grosser than normal this time.
Kind of makes you mix doinks, little buckets of water, or confetti. But
a confetti bucket is funny.
Now you get slop.
I noticed that Hunter has like an old school perfume bottle. I don't know if that was just for this match or if he's carried that around before.
Well, he had the atomizer last time.
This wasn't and
I think they've moved away from the atomizer because
the atomizer wasn't that like the...
That was the Rick Martel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, the arrogance.
Yeah, this one's just like, got the little squishy ball on the end.
I wonder if Rick Martel and Hunter ever considered a program together in the very beginning.
Wasn't Rick gone by then?
Yeah, but he could have been a great manager or something.
Man, I'm pro Rick Martel.
Yeah. Anywho.
They go back into the ring where the two trade punches until Godwinn back body drops Triple H. Hog then ties Triple H in the ropes and grabs a handful of slop and rubs it in Hunter's face.
Hog tied.
Triple H escapes the ropes and attacks from behind, hitting a clothesline, right hands, chokes, a neck breaker, and a knee drop. They brawl their way out to the floor, where Hog reverses a whip to run Hunter into the steel steps. And Godwinn picks Triple H up, carrying him towards the Hog Pen. But Hunter wiggles his way free and rams Hog's head into the guardrail.
I think it's so funny that fans just have to sit next to this giant pig pen with pigs in it, making pig sounds, and there's no way that this show went on for a couple hours without pigs shitting. Wouldn't you be pissed if you bought like a floor ticket and you're like, oh, I'm right next to the pig pen?
It would be a shitty seat.
It would be a shitty seat.
Yep.
The two continue to brawl, with Triple H getting his head slammed against the rail before Godwinn is whipped into the Hog Pen door. Triple H attempts a pedigree, only for Godwinn to reverse with a back body drop onto the fence, where Hunter avoids going over into the pin and jumps off with an elbow drop. They then make their way back to the ring, where Triple H gets a boot up on a charging Hog, but Godwinn then catches Hunter going for a monkey flip and delivers a wheelbarrow slam. Hog tosses Triple H to the corner for a flare flip out to the floor, with Godwinn following out with another handful of slop. And they begin to brawl their way back towards the pin, where Hog attempts the slop drop, only for Hunter to block by grabbing the guardrail, causing Godwinn to hit the concrete hard.
Yikes.
Triple H then goes to whip Hog towards the pin, only for it to be reversed, sending Hunter hard into the gate, which ends up cutting his back in the process.
Yeah, the metal definitely bends in.
Giving it his all.
Before delivering a slop drop. Godwinn would then charge at Triple H, who back body drops Hog over the fence into the pin for the win.
Into the pen for the win. Oh my gosh. This totally happened.
Yep.
Post-match, Hillbilly Jim goes to raise Hunter's hand, only to be shoved away, so Jim returns the favor, allowing Hog to grab him from behind, lifting Triple H into a press slam down into the mud. Godwinn would then give him one more body slam for good measure, with Hunter flailing about once he tries to get to his feet.
It is a pretty good work slip and fall multiple times. I was impressed by the last couple. It's like, all right, he's like, can you get this camera off of me? I'm tired of slipping. But he does it like a good 6 or 7 times in a row.
So even to this day, if you were to look at Triple H's back, you would see a scar on it.
Oh, really?
Because that cut would get infected from all the mud and pig shit.
Jesus.
Yay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty funny that as much as he would love to forget this match, he never will.
See, I can't date your daughter, Vince. Look at my fucking back.
Yeah. I almost got sepsis. I don't know if that's how you get it, but sounds good.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, I love that Jerry Lawler keeps doing the Jeff Foxworthy bit, but he says, you might be from Bitters, Arkansas, as the tagline instead of you might be a redneck. Which just reminded me of how much I loved you might be a redneck jokes as a small child,
yes.
And how really bad and dumb they are. But they are basically only for children and I guess old folks, because it is really not funny. Mm-hmm. That man is very unfunny.
It was funny. It was funny when it first came out.
Yeah.
But I was like,
first time you heard it,
I was like 15, 16 years old when it came out.
I remember I had a little a small book that had a bunch of them in it. It was.
I think I had his first 2 CDs.
Oh wow!
So which one did you prefer more, though? The You Might Be a Redneck or Here's Your Sign?
Here's Your Sign.
That's
I can't remember his name.
Is it Larry? No, not Larry the Cable Guy.
Bill, is it Bill Engvall? No.
Ron White.
No.
Those are the only 4 hillbilly comedians I know.
Stupid.
Mind of Mencia. That's a TV
No, I
show.
think it's Ron White.
Can't be, is it?
I'm more of a original Kings of Comedy guy.
Oh, okay, well, it's Bill
Okay,
Engvall.
Yeah.
More of an original Kings of Comedy guy than a whatever that one is. The white guys, not the white guys. What are the white guys' tour called?
Redneck rodeo.
Redneck comedy tour.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm more of a Bernie Mac.
They had a show together.
Steve Harvey kind of guy.
I was a Foxworthy guy.
Yeah.
I never really got into Bill Engvall other than the one show that they one DVD movie that they filmed where it showed all their show.
I'd say Ron White was the best of those guys.
Ron White was the best, but he was the one that I liked the least.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember any of their stuff. I just don't know if I could sit through it to get it.
And it still amazes me that the one that's actually still the most popular is Larry the Cable Guy, who's the worst of them.
Yeah, and he's not even. It's just a gimmick. He's just he's working a gimmick like a fucking wrestler.
He lives like 10 minutes down the road from my sister in Nebraska. He's just a regular old dude. He used to call into the radio back in the day, and it, I guess, caught on. But yeah, the Here's Your Sign is just 3 a.m. phone call. Hey, are you asleep? No, I'm skydiving. Here's your sign. Can I help you? No, I just waited in line for 30 minutes just to say hi. Here's your sign.
I don't understand. What am I missing?
It's another one of those.
Not funny.
Yeah.
What is the Here's Your Sign thing?
I'm sorry I hurt your feelings when I
it.
called you stupid. I really thought you already knew.
I'm confused. Like what is
90s stand up? That's what it is.
But what does it mean? Here's your sign. I'm trying to
hearing the jokes and not understanding them. Here's your sign.
The sign should be worn by stupid people, bearing the warning that they are in fact stupid. Here's your sign.
Thanks, Matt. I get it now. I was like, I don't understand. Like,
here, top answer. What does it mean when someone says, "Here's your sign"?
I get it. No, I get it now. I get it.
You're stupid.
I get it.
You've done something
I understand.
stupid.
I get it.
Originated by the Texan comedian Bill Engvall in the mid-late 90s.
Here's
when
your
he
sign.
suggested that stupid people should wear a sign to give regular people some warning.
Yeah.
Therefore, when you see and hear someone do something exceptionally dumb, you infer that they have one of Bill Engvall's warning stupid person signs.
Oh man.
There you go.
People used to say, "Here's your sign," and now
that,
they
folks,
ask,
was your history on Here's Your Sign.
"What's your sign?"
Yeah. That was my favorite Jack Foxworthy joke.
Just him making sounds.
Well, it was a you might be a redneck
redneck dictionary or something like that. Today's word is
I just remember that being a part of the DVD or CD.
Sensuous.
Yeah, since you was up.
Grab me a beer.
Wear me a beer. Sensuous.
Fuck, man. God bless anybody who can make money doing shit like that.
I mean, hell, that was it. Like the inspiration for the Man Show, pretty much.
I watched a lot of that.
We get an ad for Royal Rumble.
And we're back.
And it's a fancy dinner party with everyone wearing tuxedos and dresses to watch the pay-per-view. Except for one kid. And a Robin Leach imitator speaks of elegance and sophistication. But the party begins to devolve into a brawl with the adults fighting while the kid just keeps watching the show on TV.
I mean, it's an incredible commercial.
It is pretty good.
I remember this from being a kid. I feel like it was just it's a very memorable ad.
Yeah.
Vincent sends us to a video package recapping Diesel's actions since Survivor Series. And Big Daddy Cool would refuse to apologize for his post-match antics versus Bret, saying they were just the tip of the iceberg. And we would get footage of Shawn Michaels collapsing after a match with the Rocket, taking credit for the injury. And this was the night after Survivor Series. Like, they were still playing up the concussion angle, basically.
He's in the middle of a match. All of a sudden, grabs his eye like he can't see, and then, boom, hits the ground.
And Owen says, "I did that."
And that's how they ended Raw. I'm like, holy shit. Is something actually wrong? When are we going to find out? Oh, okay. Next week, Monday.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Remember when they used to do stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Pettingill says, Diesel isn't talking. But his actions speak louder than words as we see footage of Big Daddy Cool destroying different people in the ring. As we go to our fourth match, Owen Hart with Jim Cornette versus Diesel. And Big Daddy Cool corners Owen delivering several elbows and knees before tossing him across the ring. And Diesel keeps up the attack with a side slam when Hart starts to use his speed advantage, only for Big Daddy Cool to just shove him off to the mat before clotheslining him over the ropes to the floor. Back in the ring, Diesel goes for a big boot, only for Owen to duck and nail a spinning heel kick and a missile drop kick. And Hart starts to work the leg of Big Daddy Cool until Diesel kicks him off into the post, following up with snake eyes and a body guillotine across the ropes. Big Daddy Cool continues with a big boot and signals for the jackknife powerbomb, yelling, "It's for Sean!" before nailing the powerbomb. But he doesn't make the cover. Diesel decides to deliver a second powerbomb, with the ref admonishing him. So Big Daddy Cool just shoves Tim White away to be disqualified. Diesel would then deliver the jackknife anyways, signaling he wants his belt back.
So I was not ready for an Owen squash match.
Right?
That was kind of made me angry. That's really why I had nothing to say for this match.
Yeah, it's like, where's Dean Doug? Well, if Dean's on his way out, use Dean.
Yeah.
He had the title. He had the IC belt at one point. That's something.
His back's only at 65%. He's not medically clear.
True.
Yeah,
Very true.
I know. I love that for Big Daddy Cool merch, they just started selling a black glove to fans. And then over the microphone, there's just like all these kids with like black gloves on, sticking their hands out. And
he would only slap the hands of the kids with the black gloves on.
Which is what he told me, what Vince said, which I was like, incredible and such a fucking shameless douchebag way to make money. But hey, we're talking about the WWF here.
Hey, Diesel puts the D in douchebag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not. It's sports entertainment.
Diesel powered douche.
Sonny and Ray Rougeau are still on their superstar lines, and now they're interviewing Triple H and Godwinn respectively. And Sonny is disgusted by the smell that's coming from Hunter at this point.
And then you see Ray just sitting there with this big old smile, smiling at the camera, like everything's good over here.
$1 Million Man Ted DiBiase is in the ring with a microphone, while Santa and Savio Vega are handing out presents to fans in the aisleway. And the $1 Million Man says he can buy anyone, and to prove his point, he invites Savio into the ring, telling him to bring Santa with him. DiBiase calls Claus ridiculous, fat, and ancient, mocking his lack of conditioning. The $1 Million Man then turns to Vega, asking if he believes in Santa, with Savio answering yes in English and in Spanish. DiBiase then asks for a translation, with Vega repeating that he does believe in the magic of Santa. $1 Million Man laughs and says, "Believe this, my friend," and Santa attacks Savio from behind with his bag of presents. The two men are beating down Vega, with DiBiase saying even Santa has a price before they leave. Savio catches up with them in the aisleway for them all to end up brawling to the back.
It's funny because I'm like, I know this was Vince's idea. This is some what the kinds of things that Vince finds funny. So it's like, that's my assumption. But then as soon as he says that he bought Santa Claus or whatever Santa attacks, Vince makes sure to say very loud and clearly, that can't be the real Santa Claus.
Because it's not the real Santa Claus.
Who could it be?
It's Xanta Claus.
That's right.
He's from the South Pole, and he steals presents from the kids.
Did they say that?
No, they didn't, but this was what the beginning of that character was.
Oh, this is an ongoing thing.
It only shows up for a couple of weeks, because
I was
how long are you going to actually have a Santa Claus other than in December?
It's the 17th right now, so
it's not the same as a wrestling clown. You can only do so much with Xanta.
But
I just can't believe you said that, because I was watching it and I was like, there's a, his hat and beard come off or whatever, and I was trying to get a look at who it was, and they never said. So I was like, who is that? I was like, oh, Matt will have an answer. And then I thought the Xanta thing for legitimately that you were just being funny, because it's really funny.
Nope, I am being completely honest.
Santa and
he lives at the
Claus
South Pole,
K.
and he steals.
Correct. But I will tell you who played Santa Claus.
Was it Zanny Zabisco?
No, it was the future Balls Mahoney.
Balls.
Oh. Good for him.
And I do have a fun story about how he got the name Balls. I'm going to share it here because it's the first time we've talked about balls.
Yeah. I mean, not the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So, supposedly, he cursed at McMahon over the phone, thinking he was actually talking to the other Vince, as in Russo.
Yeah. Smart.
So he ended up getting fired. So when he showed up in ECW, Paul was like, "You yelled at Vince McMahon? You sure do have some balls."
It's still a bad name. It's
Balls
funny though.
Mahoney.
That is funny.
I mean,
so he doesn't show up.
If you got a big dick Dudley, you got to have balls to go along with it, I guess.
So when does Vince Russo show up in the WWF?
I guess he's there already.
Yeah.
95?
I guess so. Working.
I mean, he's
magazine
probably
writer
lower
stuff.
level.
Yeah, he did start at the magazine. That's true. But yeah, that is funny that. But
yeah, I was trying to figure out who that was.
You could have called him any. There's just straight balls for your first name.
It's just a fun story.
No, it's a great story. It's just funny that such a bad name.
So Vince then sends us to a video package where we see King Mabel talking about how fans are calling him scared for running at Survivor Series. But he claims he has no fear for The Undertaker, bragging about pinning him and putting him out of action, as we see highlights of all this.
Hey, I remember Survivor Series. Everybody was afraid of The Undertaker, including Mabel.
And that's true.
Truth.
Mabel promises to be the first to put the dead man in the casket for good. Paul Bearer then admonishes King Mabel for stealing the chain that, Kama had made out of the urn, and for desecrating the casket. And Undertaker says the image of his face will be burned into Mabel's soul for eternity.
I love it. It's just the remnants of the chain of the urn.
Yeah, they just kept calling it the remnants of the chain, or the remnants of the urn, and I'm like, it's a fucking chain, guys.
Yeah, it's like it's like we know that it got melted from the urn, so you can just call it the chain.
But that leads us into our fifth match.
Haunted necklace. Sorry.
So that leads us into our fifth match. King Mabel with Sir Mo versus The Undertaker with Paul Bearer in a casket match.
And he's with Mo and a casket that they spray painted. Cause,
it's a graffiti covered.
Yeah, they're men on a mission. They've got a chain, they got spray paint. I haven't seen them do any breakdancing, but they have rapped.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd want to see
Mabel.
Maybe see Mabel trying to do a spin-a-rooney or something.
I know, could you imagine if Mabel did a spin-a-rooney? Bring the house down. It'd be the biggest pop in the world. He'd go babyface in all of the fucking 4 seconds.
But before we get going, we go to the back with Doc Hendricks, and he finds the actions of Mabel and Mo disgusting. But you know what's even more disgusting? The prices for WrestleMania the arcade game. It costs anywhere from $50 to $80 for the different systems, and Doc can't find any copies in the stores. So if you call right now, Hendricks is going to throw in a VHS of game strategies.
For the games that you can't get copies of in the store.
We know you're calling in to order the game.
I did think it was crazy they were just selling the game directly.
Like, how much are games now?
I think
$60.
Yeah.
They stay the same price all these years?
Mm.
Crazy.
I mean, they do sell special edition stuff that's more expensive.
Yeah, but that's just like...
But yeah, I mean, I figured they were like $60, something like that now, but then seeing the prices when they popped up on the TV, it's like, seriously, we're paying that much for that back then?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I think I even remember a point in time where I saw games for like $70 when they first came out. They always drop.
Let's just say the overhead is much less now.
Yeah. They drop over. Most of them drop price over time or whatever. But yeah, video games are never cheap.
Yeah, I guess I typically bought mine in the clearance bins or whatnot, just because.
Yeah. Masters of Terrace
$10
or whatever, the Star Wars game you get for $2 anywhere. It's like a PlayStation 1 fighter.
TNC Surf Designs, man.
Oh, dude, I played the shit out of that game. I could never get the surfing part right, but the skateboarding one I was okay at.
The surfing, it took me the longest time and many broken controllers because I was like 12 when I first played it. And I'd get pissed off and frustrated, and I'm sitting on the end of the bed playing the game, and the beds have these big banisters on both sides, so every now and then my frustration level would boil over, and I'd just smash it against the side of the thing there.
Post it.
Yep. Not playing this game ever again! And then I'll buy a new controller and then come back and play it again 2 days later.
I just never understood how that one worked, but...
You just keep going. And you keep going. And you just keep going.
Well... enough of NES talk.
Somebody who actually knew that game. I shouldn't be surprised, but I've never actually known anybody that's heard of that game before, so awesome.
I played it a lot.
Taker makes his way to the ring, and after the smoke clears, he begins to stalk after Mabel on the floor, but gets distracted by Mo, allowing King Mabel to attack the dead man as they get in the ring. Undertaker fights back with throat chops and chokes before nailing a corner clothesline, only for Mabel to retaliate with a sidewalk slam. King Mabel continues with a clothesline and a body slam, followed by a second rope splash attempt, but the dead man rises to avoid. Taker starts going for multiple clotheslines when Sir Mo distracts the Undertaker from the floor, allowing Mabel to deliver a belly-to-belly suplex and a leg drop. R.I.P. King Mabel lands a splash in the middle of the ring, then tells Mo to carry the dead man to the casket, placing him inside. But Sir Mo decides that he needs to give Mabel his crown instead of closing the lid, which would have won the match.
Yeah, I love that normally when somebody would say like RIP or whatever, it would be like a negative thing. But here they're all yelling RIP like to try to rally behind the Undertaker.
It's like the Taker's USA, man.
Yeah, it's great. It's a much better USA.
The King tries to finish it off, but Taker blocks and re-enters the ring. Undertaker then delivers several clotheslines and a chokeslam before kicking Mabel into the casket. Mo then attacks from behind with the chain, so the dead man chokeslams and rolls him into the casket as well.
Remnants of the urn.
Taker grabs the chain before closing the lid for the win. Post-match, Undertaker celebrating with the remnants of the urn before handing them to Paul Bearer, who cradles it like a baby.
So I was really hoping they would have like a handheld light or something like that Paul would like have up his sleeve so that when he held it up, the bright light would shine out from inside the remnants of the urn.
Oh man, I love that.
That would have been great.
The light inside the urn was so good.
Yeah.
And I only remember it from like one pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It just needed to be in his sleeve, just right there, and
The dead man then makes the universal sign that he wants a belt, with Lawler saying, "That's not a promise, that's a threat."
I mean, yeah, I was excited to see him do it.
That's a couple people now that have done the old universal signal.
I mean,
the
Royal Rumble's coming up too, so it's a good way to hype it up subtly.
We get Jim Ross in the back, and he sends us to video footage of SummerSlam 92 and the aftermath of that match. JR is then joined by the Bulldog, Cornette, and Diana Smith. Corny says Bret's jealous because Stu favored Davey Boy, that the Bulldog stole Hitman's thunder, fans and Stu's respect, and that Davey Boy was like a son to him. Cornette promises that the Bulldog will twist the knife even more by winning tonight. Diana is asked if she has mixed emotions, and she says there are none, that she is behind her husband. And I just said that with more feeling than she did.
Yep.
Hey, all she needs to do is be a pretty face. She's good at that.
3 years of acting classes from 92 to 95, and this is what you get.
Mm-hmm. They made her dress up this time because normally she wears like a fringe like jacket, and now they're like putting red and white polka dots and red lipstick on it.
She's got the heel husband now, so she's got to look like slightly a badass instead of the worried little housewife that's afraid of her brother and her husband slapping each other too hard, even though her husband's fucked up.
She's looking brassy.
Davey Boy then says that the WWF title will be around his waist, right where it belongs. Mm-hmm. We then go to Todd Pettengill outside of a locker room with Bret Hart. Todd asks if history is on his mind. And Hitman says this match is like every other. He's there to stop them from becoming WWF champion, proving that he is the best there is, was, and will ever be. Hart has lived with the loss to Bulldog since '92, but tonight revenge is his, and the excellence of execution will shine like it's never shone before.
So it's every single Bret Hart promo that's ever happened. Well, until he starts doing like the Healy
like it's
stuff.
Never shone before.
It's never shone before. Sheen before. Sean.
He said
before.
Sean.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a Canadian way. I don't know. They say a boot. So
Or maybe had someone on his mind.
Yeah, maybe he's just can't get him off his mind whether he likes it or not.
Shawnee Nights.
Fuck. Yeah. There's a sign in the crowd. I think I saw it at the beginning of the show, but somebody just wrote Bret Hart's name wrong and wrote Bert Hart.
Bert?
Yeah.
That's where you got it.
Yeah, because it's just like one of the first things I saw on the show. I was like, damn, that's embarrassing and funny that they spelled his name wrong.
We then go to our sixth match. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, with Jim Cornette and Diana Smith, versus Bret the Hitman Hart for the WWF Championship. The two men trade holds and takedowns early on, with Bulldog pulling on Bret's hair to gain the advantage, putting him in a tree of woe for a bunch of stomps and an accidental ref bump. Davey Boy keeps wearing down the Hitman with chin locks and goes for a whip, only for Hart to come back with a crucifix attempt, which Bulldog counters into a Samoan drop, followed by a leg drop. And Vince makes the announcement at this point that the Undertaker will face the winner of this match at the Royal Rumble.
Well, that was fast.
Undertaker has no business being in the Royal Rumble. It's a silly thing to put him in.
Yep.
Especially, he's been established for so long. He's the guy that's been probably the shortest amount of... he came in as a top guy and stayed a top guy his entire career. I don't think anybody's really ever done that. He was Mean Mark for a little bit, but as far as the WWF, he never had to chill at the bottom of the card.
No.
He's just always been his own thing and always treated like a top guy.
That's very true. Bulldog then distracts the ref, allowing Cornette to get in on the action before delivering a back body drop for a 2 count and going back to chin locks.
You see Corny's Santa racket?
Ho, ho, ho.
It's awesome.
Bret begins to fight back with a monkey flip, an atomic drop, a headbutt to the gut, a bulldog, and a pile driver to Davey Boy for a near fall. Hitman continues with more headbutts, a shot to the gut, a Russian leg sweep, a second rope elbow drop, before setting the Bulldog on the turnbuckles for a superplex, only for Davey Boy to counter by tossing Hart onto the ropes, crotch first. They begin to brawl out on the floor with Bulldog whipping Bret into the steel steps, which causes him to cut his forehead.
We got a bleeder.
Davey Boy continues by ramming the Hitman into the ring post,
Posted.
and then the guardrail, before heading back into the ring. And Bulldog's just working over that cut with headbutts, punches, and boots, before hitting a pile driver and a stalling suplex for a 2 count.
Big moves. The blade job, I was like, oh, because at first, when he did it whenever he got thrown into the steps, but I think he cut his hand a little bit, trying to get the blade out of his wrist tape or whatever.
Uh-oh.
So at first I thought he just smashed his hand and would cut his on accident while he got thrown into the steel, because Bret has no issue throwing himself into things, as he does every single match in a turnbuckle. Yeah. So that's what I thought it was, and I was like, oh no. As soon as he comes up off the floor mat and there's just a puddle where his head was, I was like, Jesus. He really is really trying to. Sometimes you rush when you're trying to hide the blade, I guess.
Well, just because they weren't supposed to bleed in WWF.
I know.
Vince was not happy, and somehow Bret convinced him that it was hard way.
That's why I was surprised too, because I was like, oh, that's why I just thought he smashed his hand, and then 5 seconds later when he comes up, I was like, fuck. I was like, he didn't only blade, he dug in.
Yeah. Davey Boy with a press slam, a body slam, and then goes up top for a flying headbutt to the small of the back for a near fall. Bulldog locks on a bow and arrow stretch, which Hart almost reverses into a sharpshooter, only for Davey Boy to power out immediately before shoulder tackling Bret out to the floor.
And the camera stays wide. Vince even makes sure to say it over the microphone, like just for the guys in the truck. But he's like, please keep the camera wide, because he's was not ready for this, because there's no blood in cartoon wrestling. But this looks more like a wrestling match than some other things we see.
Bulldog looks to bring the Hitman back in with a suplex, but Hart floats over, nailing a German suplex for a 2 count. The two men then begin to run the ropes, where they both go for clotheslines for the double KO. Back to their feet, Davey Boy charges at Bret, only to be back body dropped over the ropes to the floor, followed by the Hitman flying out with a slingshot plancha. Hart tries for a springboard pump splash, only for Bulldog to catch him and deliver a running power slam on the floor. Davey Boy then starts to pull the mats up before going for a vertical suplex, only for Bret to counter, crotching the Bulldog on the railing. Back in the ring, the Hitman with a backbreaker for a 2 count and an Irish whip so hard it causes Davey Boy to flip into the turnbuckles.
Love the psychology of it's like, now it's his turn for the nut shot, but he gets his on the steel, and we keep getting shots of Diana, but she starts to look on disapprovingly.
Hart then nails a superplex for the pin, and no! Bulldog kicks out. Bret starts arguing with the ref, allowing Davey Boy to hit an O'Connor roll, which the Hitman rolls over on top for a near fall. Hart then with a back body drop, right hands, and goes for the whip, only for Bulldog to reverse, but he then charges into a big boot, followed by Bret using a La Magistral for the pin and the win. Guess he was getting some tips from old
Dos Caras?
No, it wasn't Dos Caras. It was using the La Magistral. Ultimo Dragon.
Ultimo Dragon, yeah. He must have got that J-Cup 2 tape.
Yep.
He's like, well, this is nice. I think I could pull that off. It was funny to see Bret Hart do that pin, because he is a meat and potatoes psychology guy.
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Yeah, he does, like, his little brother does the fancy stuff.
We then get an In Your House extra screen before we get Todd Pettengill backstage with The Undertaker and Paul Bearer. Paul says the fans always ask when the Dead Men would get a championship match, and thanks to Mr. Monsoon, it's becoming true. Diesel then interrupts, wanting to know why Taker gets a match before him. Bearer then says,
Big Daddy Cool, you haven't been very cool lately.
Is Terry Funk here?
I know, my Terry Funk. Shane does a better Bearer than I do. I went straight to Funk.
So Diesel just grabs him by the tie, only for the Undertaker to stop him. And Big Daddy Cool says people have been dodging him lately, with the Dead Men responding, he doesn't dodge anybody. And the two men then just stare each other down for a really long time, as it just doesn't ever cut away. But it finally does, as we see a highlight video from the show before fading to black.
Yeah, I was waiting for like one of them to break or something just because of how long the camera was stuck on their face.
It would have been really fun.
So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of In Your House 5?
I didn't hate it. It had some entertaining moments, and then it had its, oh, brother. Yeah, for the most part, I kind of dug it. It was good to see Marty back. Even the hog match was kind of entertaining, but then that was also one of the, oh, brother, when that one was first announced, because, oh, brother. And then there was Santa Claus, which brought shit down, but...
I mean...
Started strong, ended strong, I was happy.
Santa Claus brings it up, but only not because of what happened on the show, but because Matt told me what the gimmick was, which I think is perfectly stupid. But I mean, Santa Claus does stink. If they just would have let us know on this show, we could have at least thought it was stupid and funny. This feels like a pretty run-of-the-mill, like, in your house, but we finally get a, like, real main event, which is nice, and I really like the closing stretch and the finish of that match. It's nice to see some blood. It was nice for Davey Boy to pull his own weight this time, because, you know, last time he was higher than a kite in front of like 12,000 people or more. I don't know how many people Wembley holds, but it was fucking
like
packed.
80,000.
A bunch.
Yeah, it's like way too many people for you to be that fucking high, you fucking dickhead. And I mean, that match is good too, but I remember not liking that match as much as it has been like reported on in the past. Like, people were like, this is great. And I was like, yeah, it was good, but something felt off. Didn't know it was high as a kite when I watched it. Yeah. So,
I mean, I think we're all about the same line, but I feel like I may be the highest on this show. I find this show to be completely entertaining.
Delightful.
We have a classic main event, even as far to maybe possibly say those two words, short and list.
I mean, yeah,
I like this one much better than the SummerSlam 92 match.
I do as well. Like I said, that SummerSlam 92 feels a lot like they're just on a lot of mat work, which I'm totally fine with, but we know why.
We know why. Mat work in the first one.
It's not very compelling.
The SummerSlam one felt bigger. I mean, because it was the main event of SummerSlam in front of 80,000 people. But yeah, quality-wise, this one was.
Yeah.
You had two wrestlers wrestling instead of one going, huh?
This felt like a match worthy of the title belt.
Yeah. I also feel like there is tons of character arc in the middle of the show. Lots of building. Goldust and Razor. We're going to see that. Yeah. Jeff Jarrett's back. Ahmed Johnson's getting a big win. Even the Diesel stuff. Yes, it's a squash match against Owen. That does suck.
Then he gets in Taker's face, and
it does help build Diesel back up. He's getting his heat back from, losing the title. It's just all these little small things that they did.
Diesel gonna steal the chain for his tires.
I mean, yes, the Santa Claus thing. It's dumb. But it's silly and fun. It's 5 minutes of this entire show.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't affect it in any real way to me. Yeah. Like it doesn't. I'm not like, oh my god, that was so bad.
Savio got a payday, guys.
Yeah.
Like, good for him.
We're pro Savio. He's fine. He's fine.
Oh yeah.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So, what are some of the best moments of this show?
I love that Goldust always quotes like old movies that like there's no way that the kid audience would know or give a shit about. Like, he did Planet of the Apes, and in this show, I don't know if we said it, but he quotes The Graduate. It's like, okay, yeah. It's like, all right. And I always get a kick out of it because he does the quote, and those 2 times I've seen both those movies, but like he does a quote, and I'm like, what is that from? And then he says it, and then I just giggle to myself because I'm like, why are you quoting The Graduate?
Because he's planning his seduction.
Yeah, and I like to think that either Dustin Rhodes is a weird movie buff, or he just had a book of movie quotes, because there's no IMDb or something for him to look at. I can just picture him watching The Graduate on VHS, like, while like icing a limb after a match in a hotel, and that makes me laugh.
So for years, I had heard about this Hog Pen match, and basically I'd always heard that it was kind of punishment to Triple H. That's the reason why he had to do this match. But, like...
Punishment for what?
People always said that he had to do it for punishment, the curtain call. But the curtain call hasn't happened at this point.
Yeah.
And so realizing, like, I didn't know what the timeline of all that was. I just always heard that he had to do this match, and people associated it with the curtain call is why he had to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, not the reason.
We're still a couple years away from that.
I actually feel like that Hog Pen match, it's my favorite match on the show. It's not the best match.
For what it is, it's well worked.
Like, obviously, I just call the main event a shortlist match. So it's the best match on the show.
It's a much better match for sure, as far as a wrestling.
This Hog Pen match is way better and more entertaining than it ever deserves to be.
I agree completely. Like I said, it's well worked for a well worked dumb idea, and worked with. It never gets too goofy, as if it's not goofy enough in the first place. You know what I mean? They don't do any goofy, like, whoa faces or anything like that. Like, you know. Plus, it helps that Hunter's not.
Slip and fall at
yeah.
the end.
Hunter's very, like, keeps his character very, like, serious. He never gets buffoony with his, like, hoity-toityness. He always stays in and never turns into a comedy thing, which adds to it, too. Because if he, like, you know, if he started, like, throwing fits and stuff, like, then it would probably not be. It would be like, okay, eye roll, but he keeps it straight and just, you know, and his whole thing is that he's this, you know, highbrow aristocrat. He's not like a dandy or whatever.
Dandy.
That's not the joke they're putting across. I'm sure Vince McMahon would love that, but Hunter doesn't like this anyway. We all know that too. Try to still be cool with it.
Any other best moments?
I hate casket matches.
Oh yeah, but
just putting that out there. I've seen enough.
I think
I've seen enough.
I think we've just seen too many of them in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I know they do come back, but it's much more sparse.
Yeah, I was just thinking of my highs, and I went to my low.
It makes it feel like a bigger thing.
Yeah, it's like you can't water it down.
I don't know. I still look back at Ray Rougeau. I can still see his face smiling in the camera after the Hog Pen match, just because Sonny was all excited because she was going to interview the winner, and it's like, you know what? Fuck you. We're both sitting here talking to people covered in pig shit.
Well, how about most disappointing?
The realization of just how short-lived Dean Douglas.
That's literally what I thought too.
Yeah, I can't believe that was it.
Dean Douglas gone, and for some reason. Actually, I should have said one of my funniest lines was when he introduced Buddy Landel as his graduate student. I'm just like, Buddy Landel was probably your trainer, bro.
Yeah, I did think that was funny too. He's a good wrestler. What was the deal? Why did he leave so quick?
Who, Buddy Landel?
No.
Oh, Dean Douglas?
Dean Douglas.
He just didn't get along with people in the back.
Yeah.
He didn't click well with certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's really any terribles.
See, that's the thing, is this show I don't feel like has any just like terrible.
There's not super lows. The two squash
matches
move quick enough.
You both mentioned Diesel squashing Owen. That's a little bit disappointing. I can see if you're an Owen Hart fan, that's a little bit disappointing. Especially he just came off from being a tag champion as well.
The way I see
he probably shouldn't be in that spot, but at the same time, it's Bret. Bret took his belt, so he's getting revenge on the Hart family. Even if Owen and Bret aren't always seeing eye to eye,
they're still brothers.
They're still brothers. So that's kind of where I think. Plus, Owen is the one that took out Shawn. I think that's where that storyline comes.
Yeah, because he yells, "I'm like, this is for Shawn." Whenever he slams him. I also feel like Owen Hart is the kind of guy that can just eat a loss.
He can fill any role.
Well, he can. I think he can eat a loss without it ever really affecting him negatively.
Yeah.
Kind of the same way that, like, Tomohiro Ishii can eat pins all day, but nobody likes him less for it. Like, it's just like, we just if you like the guy, you like the guy, and you're happy when he wins, but when he loses, it's
he still put his effort in.
Yeah, and it's no sweat off his back or yours. I'm just gonna live to fight another day. So I'm not too bummed about the Owen thing. Plus, Diesel's like 7 feet tall, and Owen is strictly like mid-card, like upper mid-card heel, off and on. If he floats.
Only other thing is just, I mean, we've mentioned it before, the Santa Claus. It's just, I just have to ask why, or really, or.
I think the thing about that the most is, the segment itself, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But that they thought, we'll introduce a character
and use it,
but it's obviously only Christmas time for like a month of the year.
The smarter
thing, it's just kind of like
the smarter thing to do would have had it been a member or a current member or a new member of the $1 Million Corporation. That's in the Santa Claus thing.
Yeah,
instead of a new guy, because then you don't have to do the dumb thing. You can just be like, "Oh, it was that guy all along," and then Santa's done, and now it's just back to being the guy, whoever he may be. And I feel like half the roster is on the $1 Million Corporation at this point.
Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I think Sid and 1-2-3 Kid are the only two that matter at this point, though. So
yeah,
I can't think of anybody else.
No, because I mean, I don't remember if Tatanka is still around.
I don't remember
or anything. You haven't seen him in a while.
Did you guys get this? I got a slight feeling when Goldust first came out that maybe he was going to become a member of the $1 Million Corporation, but no, I just didn't. I got that feeling, and then until the Razor stuff, but I was like, maybe that's what we're doing with him. But it seems like they've already rolled out the red carpet. So why would you bring him down by putting him in your Blighty heel team?
Yep. How about best performer of the night?
Bret for sneaking in a blade job and then selling it to Vince that it was the hard way, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, blood works when you don't use it all the time and you use it at the right spot. And Bret's smart enough guy to do it at the right time. And
I mean, if this
at the right spot.
I can honestly say, if this match doesn't have blood, it's not hitting my short list. No. The blood is what
it'd still be good because I do think that the finish and the closing
minute.
Yeah, I think the finish is awesome, but that's why blood exists in wrestling. It heightens the drama, but you have to earn it. Otherwise, it's just like, okay, and you can't have blood on every match. It needs to be in the last match.
How about anything surprising?
Blood.
Yeah, the blood definitely is the most surprising.
Yeah, I didn't think British Bulldog was holding the belt. Also, there's no way I would have not known that because British Bulldog was ever the WWF champion. I would have heard about that at some point in my life.
It's a good chance you might have.
Yeah, you would think so.
Jeff Jarrett's back, guys.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see Jeff back because I think these in your house shows kind of started with like a really solid Jeff Jarrett matches, and like he was doing great work because he does great work, and then him being off of a few, it's like you really miss him on that card. He really does keep it going.
They basically had to rely more on Mabel and Sycho Sid and Diesel while he was gone.
Yeah, and we know how that turned out.
How sad is that?
Yeah, this is a much better in your house than the last couple, and Jeff Jarrett is a big part of why that's the case. Another big part of that is that we got the belt off of Diesel.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been listed in the disappointing, but then I'm going to also kind of sprinkle it into the surprising. I get the reason for it, the storyline building and whatnot, but just the Owen squash. That just shocks me that this level in his career that he's taking a pay-per-view squash.
He had to do it for Sean, man. But yeah, it's like it could have been somebody else, but or it means more if it's Owen.
He could have concussed Diesel, elevated himself to that next level.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Chopped down that tree.
We would all love to see that. Vince McMahon's not going to do that.
That would have been an interesting turn of events.
Yeah, that would have been my biggest surprise is if Owen beat Diesel. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Diesel beats Bret sometimes. Bret beats Diesel sometimes. Owen beats Bret, so Owen should be able to beat Diesel too.
Flawless logic.
Lawyered.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Macho Man Randy Savage had held the WWF Championship for 5 months after defeating Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8. He would defend the title versus the Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam, where the Nature Boy and Mr. Perfect would interfere, injuring both men. But Savage would retain after a countout. This would lead to Flair and Macho Man facing each other on an episode of Primetime Wrestling on September 14th, 1992. During the match, Savage would be on the outside when Razor Ramon would attack Macho Man from behind, allowing the Nature Boy to take control back in the ring. Locking on the figure 4, Savage would eventually pass out, causing the ref to make the 3 count, and making Ric Flair a 2-time WWF champion. Woo! The Nature Boy would travel the world defending the title, including Japan against Genichiro Tenryu. But the best challenger there ever was waiting for him in his home country. Next week, Starrcade 1995.
Uh-oh.
STARR. That's
CAD.
I know, I didn't want to finish
1995.
Oh, thank you, Shane, for finishing that. It's in
Jarrett's
backyard.
Yeah,
Jarrett's
Nashville.
hometown.
That was the joke.
Woo! Yeah, it's Starrcade though. Starrcades make me nervous.
It's all right. This one's got a cool vibe.
There's not a battle ball.
No battle bowl. No Legends Nights, even though that wasn't Starrcade.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Music from this week's show is In Your House by Jim Johnston. And Bret Hart went our main event, so we play his theme music, Hart Attack by Jim Johnston as well. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, GooglePlay, or wherever you find your podcasts at. Do as Michael says.
5 stars or no stars? Come on.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Recipes, drink ideas, just food or beverage, something from wherever we're going. Nashville. I'm still needing some Philadelphia and Pennsylvania ideas because we keep popping back up here even when we're not in a sole ECW show. Give me some ideas.
you can send those to us on our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.